be it all, and we talked about water management and design, but there are some things you can do that I would call preventive.
Right.
It all has relative cost or return on investment that you have to evaluate.
Right.
And I don't know what your
You
financial.
sitting here wasting almost $500,000 of taxpayers' money kind of upsets me.
Yep, I get it.
Because we're gonna end up getting a lawsuit, this will cost us way more,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it's coming. You just, you get that feeling.
You don't have one pending yet, though?
No.
Yeah.
Not yet, but it's out there, everybody knows we failed inspection, so it's just gonna take the right inmate to get in trouble in Carroll County, he's gonna walk away with $25,000 in his pocket, we're gonna be building $50 million jail.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I spent 6 years in public office, public service, so I empathize. And you get a judge coming at you with potential judgment bond, I mean, that's all stuff you don't wanna deal with. Again, I put this, just a real simple slide deck together, I don't know how much you remember about Garmong. It is a family-run business. Fourth generation is David Ham, his mother is a Garmong, she's still with us to this day. Hopefully, she can make it a little while longer, but she's getting up there in years. I report directly to the CEO, the rest of the organization comes in through me, so I'm here with full authority as an officer of the company. The next slide, as you mentioned, Commissioner Pearson, you all talk to Sheriff Sailors, and we stay in touch with them on a frequent basis. And getting close to finishing, probably second, third quarter this year, construction on that facility. Posey County, Greene County, Vigo County's under construction right now. We're doing pre-construction for Vandenberg County. Marion County, we also work with Eladotus on that, and I'm not sure either one of us like to admit that all the time, but it's an interesting project. Hendricks County, Hancock County, both under construction, as is Johnson County. Now, I didn't know if you all recognize this, but, we had constructed the Carroll County REMC, some years back, 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. So you are familiar with the county and the local subcontracting universe. We do a lot continuously over in White County. Who's the commissioner over there? He's found the judge. Diener, yeah. But I would encourage you to reach out to him if you want to get some perspective, but we're still over there in White County, so we're still constructing there. Construction delivery methods may be something that you want to discuss. We specialize in either construction manager as agency or construction manager as constructor, or what they call construction manager at risk. There's also the design bid build, which is just putting it out for bid, which, hire me, don't hire me, I would not recommend you do that. There's only been 2 counties in the last 20 years that have done it that way, and we the ones that came close to finishing where they started on cost. Then I just added a slide that kind of outlines the basic differences of the contractual relationships of those delivery methods, if you did want to talk about any of that. I think one of the other things that we bring to the table, it's unique in Indiana, is our relationship with unfortunately, a shrinking supplier detention equipment industry. Polydale Building Company is going to be your DEC, they're the only one in Indiana. You're lucky that they're highly qualified and skilled. And the deck package, I'm assuming the same on this one, makes up about 30 to 35% of the jail, but that's where all kind of the shakiness is, if you will. Tight and steel door, high probability that that's the door you're gonna have on your jail cells. It's the best one made in America. They come out of Georgia, which is a few minutes down the road from Steel Cell North America, which I'm pretty sure is in the design spec for your jail. There again, you have limited options, but you're fortunate that the options you have are really good ones. Those jail cells are constructed to last a very long time, about a third of the weight of a traditional precast model, which means less foundational effort. And the reality is, for the sheriff, keeps his team safe. They're not getting out of that jail unless he pushes a button and lets them out. And Willoughby, that I mentioned, is a water management system, also an Indiana company. We talk about flushing sheets and stuff down the toilets for usually what can be returned on expense in about 3 years. The Willoughby water management system is one that I would suggest, if you haven't looked at it, or if the sheriff hasn't looked at it, at least take a run past it to see if it's something that's worth the investment for you. Kind of controls against those things, allows the sheriff's team to manage how often they flush the toilet, how long they they can take a shower, can control it by cell and by unit, can turn it off, push a button. So a lot of this you probably already know from the design iterations that LLOS is taking you through. And then last, as I like to say, don't take my word for it. I've listed just about as many references as I can fit on a sheet of paper there for you to call. You're welcome to background check us and verify anything that I'm telling you about our experience, but we'd certainly like the opportunity to help if you all think that's possible and makes sense. With that, I'll answer any questions you have.
No, we don't have to go out to bid if I remember correctly, right, on who we just have.
If you stay with the CM as agent contract, that would be a correct statement. If you change to a construction management risk Indiana law, Indiana Code 5-32 would require you to put an RTO. Those are two.
Well, I think, first of all, we have to see if we can get the right of way, but I don't think we got the right of way yet for the water and sewer. That's something we have to go to council and get money for, because they want more money for that right of way, I believe. Then we gotta get in another contract with Elevantis.
Actually, I talked to, Warren a little bit the other day, and also to, Ed Johnson, about whether our contract was still active, that we never got to a point, I mean, we stopped at the end of a phase, but it could still be in, as an active contract, we would just have to modify with a, addendum to the scope. And so, I don't think we really got to come up with a new contract, but there would be a revised scope. Move forward that way. But that's up to you guys, how you want to handle that.
Is that for the purpose of a redesign, or was that? Yeah.
I don't know if there was even redesign. I think we can build the same building, just not finish the inside, and add it as we need it. It'll be cheaper that way in the long run, instead of adding on to the whole building. I mean, you take a dorm, I think that's what, if I remember right, the plans you had a dorm. You know, you get it ready to be set up for sales, or how you want it, then they can come back in and add that stuff later, if needed. And if not, we got storage that they don't have on top, because we got a lot of stuff sitting everywhere, you can put all together.
How hard is it to put in a prefab cell when it's already completed and running?
I mean, I don't wanna oversimplify it, but once you have the structure and you use North American steel cell product, it's kinda like using an appliance structure before, it's not that bad.
We had, on the plan that we had a lintel installed, so you could take out a portion of the wall and slide in the cells.
Crane it off the truck, the forklift it in, you take it right across.
So they just slide them in on board.
All the MEP, right, is on the back side of the cell, you have the chase, right? So it's a plug-and-play system, which makes these types of conversations about as easy as you can make them from a design and construction perspective.
I mean, because I think we was quoted, what, 103 rough estimate per cell?
103,000,
Yeah.
is that per bed?
Per bed.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact number, but,
How many cells versus,
112, wasn't it?
well, we ended up with 108,
108 beds?
right.
How much of that was in two-man, four-man versus?
Well, that's what I'm trying to count cells in.
I didn't mean to put you, I was just curious, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Seems like we had 64 cells in it.
Were they all fours or twos, do you remember?
They're all two.
All twos, okay. You have to shower them, the fixtures are in or out?
No, they're out. Well, we could go in.
Some areas empty. Tracy asked about the ones that turned into that. My answer at the time was we didn't finish some themselves.
Yeah, you can, there are a fair number of counties, as an example, Hancock County, there's a ton of dorm space to bring their costs down. It all has to do with your population too, how, I mean, the classification, there's a lot of things that the sheriff has to consider in that regard, but it is from a constructability and obviously from a design perspective, not too tall of an order to finish, and it leaves some unfinished space out there, can come back in a later year and say, okay, now we're ready to add cell structure to it. And it's gonna be probably minimally invasive and painful for you to do it that way than it used to go with some other type of cell structure.
So Fulton County, are you CMA or CMC?
They're seeing it risk, which is. You know, cause those are more things that have to do with the county side of it than it does us.
Right.
For us, it's a risk, either we take the risk or we don't, but the way we run our jobs, I mean, probably Jay will be a good one to ask, because Posey and Greene County, we did before CMC was allowed in Indiana. We run the jobs pretty much the same way. We're very aggressive about the schedule. You know, we're not, our job is to come in, build the jails as fast and as high a quality as we can, get out and try and get you all to be our next reference, just like Sheriff Sayles. We're fortunate to have him speak on our behalf.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you bringing this in, we're gonna have to do a lot of talking about this, I think, and figure out.
Sure, and I gave my business card, that has my cell phone on it, so that's where you can give any questions at all. Or if you want us to take a look at the design and get back to your our thoughts, we'd be happy to do that, if you have expectations. I'll leave that with you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate your time.
Keep the city good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we're ready for Jim Griffin. There he is, behind the podium, I kept looking around.
I gotta stay here today. If you have a letter I sent out, to explain why I'm here.
Pardon me?
Did you guys get the letter I sent out to explain why I'm here, about sick time thing?
It's in your folder.
Basically what I'm asking for is to change the policy. When you retire, if you have any accumulated sick time, you guys don't cash that out, you don't give that to us. Instead of, some people instead of using their sick time, you still go to work, they're gonna feel well, they're hurt. It's not fair, I don't think it's fair for those of us who are dedicated to the person we work for. I'd like to see that changed where you guys can pay out sick time when a person retires or leaves employment here in the new terms. The policy states like now, it says that, accumulated sick leave may not be cashed in a monetary payment anytime nor compensated for upon separation or retirement. I'd like to see that changed.
Either one of you wanna comment first?
That's how the policy is written to them.
Policy's written, it's in the letter, exactly what's written in the policy.
Purdue does that, it's an incentive to get people to come to work, stay at work, and, at the end, they're limited so many hours. I think it's like 350 is what you're limited to, I could be wrong.
Maybe you can save up.
Yeah, you can save up, and it's like a incentive to come to work. So like in 30 years, you know,
Sick hours?
yeah,
No.
and you can cash it in, and you retire.
I think
You
the
don't
policy
get it,
states
you
it's
quit or
like-
get fired,
Up to
you only
7 hours.
retire.
70-something.
And you really don't have that many that go.
Well, it might be because of the
No,
90,
no.
I'm saying
It's the
90
hours.
days.
Yeah, they-
Yeah.
I'm going
Number
with
three since I've been sitting here, retired.
You sick leave, all that,
Yeah.
but it is, I mean, it is sick leave.
When I look at it, I took it out of the same section as the employee benefits section. But it talks about vacation, personal leaves, leave of absence without pay, education leave, holidays, illness leave. In the same section as the employee benefits.
Huh?
I used to have employees who look through this.
Handbook? Yes. How many?
Sick leave is under section 4.6.
Under section 4.
I mean, like, in their situation, 911, cause I'm, when I turned to jail, I stopped and talked to them. Cassie's having a hard time keeping people. She gets them trained, then they take off and go to another facility, because they're making $2 to $3 more an hour. And right now, I think she's down 2 or 3,
One full time.
one full-time, so you
Yeah,
got,
we'll be 2 in May.
well, I'm not allowing her there.
I would appreciate that.
But
It's not a-
to me, our personnel handbook doesn't qualify for deputies. They don't really for 911, the county highway. To me, they ought to have 3 separate ones, because, you know, everybody can't operate like a courthouse. Those 3, and EMS, EMA. I know it costs a lot of money to redo the books, but we just did it, what, 5 years ago? 17? So that was what, 20 grand or better? You see right now, the courthouse is closed, the jail matron's off, and so is soil and water. And 4-H, they all got their own board, their boards like Cassie. They got their boards, they should make their, well, we're her boss, but she also has a 911 board that Lawrence, that's on. We got the highway department, you know, it's hard for them to follow our rules for the courthouse. I just think something needs to be changed.
It does specify different areas. It doesn't, it's not just the courthouse manual. It does have rules for the highway, it does have certain in 911 and like for your days off and things like that. Your own sheriff's
But
department.
the sick leave is basically the same kind of,
I believe so, and the sick leave is 60 days, and so it would be,
60 times.
so that's where you're getting your sick leave.
60 times what? Can't think that. 7 point.
Don't worry, I don't have 7 or 12 hours of sick time.
The last six months or so, we've had different things that we wanted to work on in the personnel policy, and I brought some of those before you. I think it would be a good idea to look at it, I'm not saying to change this, I'm just saying, look at the whole policy itself.
So we used to have that personnel board,
Yeah,
which it didn't, I mean, it worked, but it was, everybody had conflicting, I mean, it was like. It was messy.
Well, there wasn't any conflict, they just weren't meeting, and when they didn't meet, and
Nothing
it
got
just,
done.
nothing got done, or if they did meet, nothing, this is one more time, was not reported to you. And their advisory committee was for you, and I've asked a couple of times to have it reinstated, but you haven't done that, but I asked her to come in here to explain.
When I talked to Lori from Berlin, who does our policy and help put this together, her explanation as to why we don't pay out the sick leave is because it is a benefit that we give to the employees, but it's not like a mandated benefit. So it's something that they're only getting if they're employed with us. So when they leave, they're no longer employed, so it's not paid out. Vacation time is something that is different. It's made, like it's, the FLSA says you have to give so much.
It's earned.
Right, so that's why, same thing with personal time, because we don't pay out personal time and we don't pay out holidays. Because those are benefits that you guys decided we could have if we were employed. I understand what Jim's saying about, you know,
Yeah, there's employees that use up their sick time as soon as they get it.
right, so there's.
And some of us don't do it, some of us just, I personally kept it in case I needed it.
right.
I didn't need it a few years
You're
back,
the
when I had
smart
knee
one.
surgery, I took 6 weeks. I didn't need to take
You're
it.
the smart one, because if they don't have it, then they don't get
Yeah,
paid,
Right.
so, good job, Jim.
Thank
But,
you.
but then again, he's been punished, he's wanting to retire, and he's earned all that. And what are we gonna give him?
Unless you guys wanna let me put in 40 hours of sick time each week, plus go work the shift, that looks good to me.
Yeah.
Where are you looking to retire?
In May, June, May 1st, June 1st.
I see a lot, some good things in what he's saying here as far as, what is like you said, this would be an encouragement to come to work. Because you would be accumulating something that, you eventually get. Now, I think the council's gonna have to be involved with this though, because they're gonna have to put their money back to pay this off. I don't know how many we have retire per year, Steve and I were just talking about that, we haven't had too awful many retire, we have a lot leave, but not too many all retire.
But if you're going, even if they leave, they still have sick time, so I mean,
Well, do they get it if they leave or only if they retire?
well, that would, I mean, if you're changing,
That'd be
you're
what we
gonna have,
decide.
yeah.
I understand the person's fired, to lose.
I thought if you just leave, you don't have it. Like he says, Tiffany County, $35 more an hour, tomorrow's my last day and I'm going. And you still get that sick time?
Nobody gets paid out sick time, but I'm saying if you choose to, say that they get, you pay out sick time when they leave, you would specify it's from if they're retiring,
Okay, I see what you're
or
saying.
if it's just when they leave, because like right now, if somebody leaves, even though they're not retiring, we owe them their prorated vacation that they earn.
Right.
So, we would need to specify, or everybody would be wanting to turn in their sick time as well.
You talked about using the system too, because somebody could say, and I'm not saying they're gonna do this, is that they would say, well, yes, I'm retiring, and then 2 weeks later, they're working at Tippecanoe County. So, you know, you gotta,
That's true.
you know, you gotta,
But if they earn their time here, I don't care what they do after they retire.
they're not actually retired.
Well,
This
They
job.
earned their,
I'm sure
they
you will.
earned their retirement.
Right, if you earn your retirement, you put in your 20 years investment?
You have to have 85 points. Years of service plus your age, that's the.
And to me, I think people who earn that deserve that if they have that. This is my opinion.
Well, I know when I quit teaching, I only had, it was in like the last 2 days out of the last semester I was there, because I had so many sick days saved up.
Yeah.
And I just lost them. I mean, you know, that's part of when I left, is you didn't get that. And I always felt a little, well, I didn't proceed by Delphi schools, because they were wonderful to me, but I always kind of felt like that maybe I deserved a little bit there, since I'd always been on the job and had capriciously just not shown up. Well, what action can we take on this? What is our steps here?
I think we need to put that committee together, go through our budget.
Well, we could, is that gonna be a real long time consuming thing and take us until,
I hate to see this run
August?
past June first,
Yeah,
you know?
You just might be the last dinosaur then, Jim.
Start a new trend.
The other thing you're gonna need to think about if we do change it is putting a date on it, so we don't have past employees coming back.
Right.
Yeah, you have to make it retroactive.
No.
Unless it goes past June first.
If you don't. You know, you're not gonna
Is
want
that-
people that,
Is that something you can talk to Irwin's office about?
Yeah.
And we can talk about it again in the next meeting? And then it's
about, tell me what you want me to find out exactly.
kinda like, if you actually retire, you earned your points, you did your service, you pay up just so much amount, not, I mean, he had what, 712 hours? 20 hours? So, even maybe half or 3/4 of that would still be better than nothing. And it depends on what, if you're 12-hour or an 8-hour.
Right.
So you have to specify like you said, I mean,
If he's talking about half or something, like that, like 360 hours.
Yeah,
That's
720.
720, whatever it is.
720 is what the
Max
policy
is.
says. That's you, max you can have.
I'm not the,
Correct.
lower post.
are you over the 720?
You're not over 720?
I'd be some,
That's sort of a lot.
I'm under 500.
Well, if you figure 8-hour day, 720 hours is 90 days. Yeah. Huh?
No, not for
yes, you
them.
got a question.
We're For 12 hours,
Yeah, I
yes.
follow
I divided his up too ahead of time there, so it was significantly less. But, yeah, just as I'm thinking about 90 days of pay, if we have somebody who's worked for us for 20 years' time or more, been a good employee, carried the load for us, paying them for up to a maximum of 90 days is not a big deal. That's only three more months. I mean, we should be able to handle that for our employees. I think.
Cassie, you had a comment?
I was just saying that he's not 8-hour days, he's 12.
Right, okay.
I agree that it needs to be separated for 8-hour shift employees and 12-hour shift employees. And even 24, I mean, Doug's would be different
It's-
than ours,
It
so.
is in the personnel
Your pay
policy.
It is,
Your
so
pay
like
rate's
that's like
based per hour,
60
isn't it,
days.
Jim?
Right.
I'm sorry?
Your pay rate's based per hour, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, so we just take however many hours and multiply it out.
So we have like three separate ones, 8 hour, 12 hour, and 24.
I'm gonna throw out a scenario here. If you're 21 years old, you started when you're 21, and you
Okay.
work for 30 years,
Uh-huh.
you're 51, you don't make it. Is according to what you just said.
You don't get to retire at 30 years, you're saying, or what?
You can retire, but
You'll get paid.
your years of service and your age have to add up to 85
Right.
for
That's
true
what teachers
retirement
should
in
do.
Carroll County. I'm just throwing that out,
Yeah, she makes a point, and that's what I was saying. They're good employees, they do that, they have the hours. You know, to me, if it's not a retirement, you know, it's, okay, I've done this for 30 years, I wanna try a different career, maybe be a Walmart greeter up
Well,
there.
they get to the position after 30 years of their health is not, that they can
Right.
keep going on, and it's time to do something different, so,
So we need to set a standard, if you, like
That's right.
20 to 25 years, after that, you could qualify for this.
Right.
And I don't think we will have that many, the way we get people when they quit and go somewhere else.
Their health is more issue than they fight disease or sickness.
Mhm. So how many years of service you have in?
Total for Carroll County 30.
30 years.
So we need to make it 32.
You're gonna make my wife unhappy, 'cause she wants to move in September to Texas, so we don't want to like.
Well, can you check with everyone and get an idea of what we're wanting to go for here? And see what we have to do, and, I agree with Jim, it's something we need to do, so. Next meeting, we'll take it back up again, Jim.
You want me here, or you want me to?
Pardon me?
You want me to come back to the next meeting, or?
Of course. Yeah,
All right, I'll take the day off. Thanks, John.
yeah. Okay, we're down to Beth Myers.
Okay. First thing we have is the edit. The edit request, and you should have a green file.
Yes.
Lauren has two.
Warren special.
Yeah, I misplaced one like that.
Have you got mine?
No, but you can get it right there, really.
Oh,
Do we know what we're getting in?
Yes. We do.
Good question.
The whole county is getting 716,249, but the county is getting 462,427, which is more than last year, I believe.
Yeah, because last year I thought it was.
how much?
462,427.
And I think we only had like 412, if that.
416 or something like that. Anyway, the request that you have had, and you've heard from all of them, they all were contacted about you talking about it today, was, the first one is Burlington Community Club for 3,000, the county highway for 250,000, Delphi Greater Chamber of Commerce for 3,000, and economic development for 148,291, which is a contract. The chamber has a contract, but they did not draw it up until they decided on, they've got two requests here, one for 45,000 and one for 35,000. And then the Delphi Senior Citizens was approved in your budget, but the council cut it, thinking that maybe we could take it from the edit or another area. Edit's the only place that I could really think of, and it's $5,000.
Well, with all this request, we're negative $26,864.
Okay.
Did you add up to 489, 291? Yes. Okay, yeah.
So what's the
And
second?
I know right now, the council's not gonna do the 250. You might as well just mark that one out, they're not gonna do it.
What did you say, Lauren, I'm sorry?
Why not?
The second request from the county chamber, what was that? That's what they call it.
That was something new that they had
They didn't
presented,
report it,
you should have it in your,
It's in here, I guess.
yes.
because they said there's enough money in the highway department, behind itself and not use that money. They want us to use the edit money for different things besides that. Cause basically all
Well,
we
it's the
use this
second one,
for,
it's about the
gravel
rural business development grant,
and something else.
and they were going to
The road and the lady
establish.
just wanted to pay.
Right.
The first request from the chamber was the same as normal. The second one is, that they have been working with the EDC of Project Matters, and you got information on that. They wanted to,
It's a grant, it was on,
mhm,
okay, yeah, I did read this one.
they wanted to establish a revolving loan fund and to provide technical assistance and training for small businesses. And that was for $35,000.
How much is EDC one again this year? Is that the total amount?
That's the contract amount,
That's the one they want us to sign for this year.
right,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe the contract is in your,
Is that for this year or next? Yeah.
This 1 year,
Right.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Cause he was here last week talking to us, wants to get us back into a program. Which, we got new directions, we got new hope.
We had years ago, we used to go, it was 3 or 5 year.
I thought it was 5, but when,
Yeah,
someone
it
said it
was
was 4
4,
years.
yeah, it was originally 4, and then it slowly scaled back, so. Edit revenue has continued to increase year over year. We're trying to return that money back to the coffers.
We should have some extra money in our account too.
We got that 250 from last year.
But we spent some out for
We did 60,
the park.
and you had said something about saving some for the jail.
To help pay for the jail, the yearly payment. They was saying that they was short $150,000 a year, or something like that, and that would have helped offset it. But with giving EDC what they want, you still have 314,136 left. And I've got good feelings about EDC now. I think with Jake coming in, being local, I think he might get some business coming in. Hey, it's better than never talk about EDC.
We kind of discussed that, yeah, so. I think we'd like to see the goals.
Alright. So I'm willing to go ahead and give the EDC their 148,291. I would give for the year contract and see how it goes. I know it's only a year, but you can always come back and reevaluate, and I think he would give us what we asked for. Before, we never got any reports. They just spent the money and didn't tell us where it went. Then you hear stories.
We don't want to run the EDC, but we're definitely gonna know.
Right, we're counting taxpayer money.
We're the ones doing it. Otherwise,
Then I do know that some of these chambers are supposed to be self-efficient on that. That's the county, and,
County chamber,
uh,
oh, that's,
then Delphi's
6,
chamber,
7 years ago, was supposed to be self-sufficient.
Delphi's chamber, you know, we give them that money last year to help with the old settlers.
And they did not spend it, so we have that too.
So, you know, it wasn't spent because it was canceled.
How much do we have left in the?
I did not look that up, and then you can ask me, but you at least have
200.
Oh, we probably got 300.
probably 3 or 400,000 in there so far. Less.
And see, to me,
That's a heck of a project.
that's a big part. But we also got the coroner, who has no office or building for her stuff, and we got an EMA director getting us a lot of wonderful equipment that's sitting outside.
Right.
I think we need to take some of that money and build them a building.
There's, talk that for the CARES money left over, so they roughly, they approved what, almost 200,000
200 of what was left.
to build that,
Yeah.
We're left in this,
200,000 CARES money.
yeah, okay.
So with CARES money and the other money, we can find somewhere and get something put up
Or
or,
finding somewhere, so first then, we decide what we can do. If something's existing, but.
yeah, but if you buy
Everybody's
something,
been looking.
right, if you build it what's existing, then you have to remodel, and it's still not gonna be what you need.
Right.
I mean, we still got land. We got some land
Buy
buys.
some land now, we got some land up north and none down,
Mhm.
but up north is kind of a question.
Right,
Like it's out of the, too far to the one
Yeah,
side.
the corner and all that, just
Right.
more simple.
kinda have more centralized, like Camden, Delphi, Florida area, right in that circle.
It's more towards the city.
Jake, you wanna know where all everything is that's available
I
out
mentioned
there?
that to Jake about
Yep.
it was available.
And Flora's got some property, the town of Flora has some property, we're trying, when I was on the council, trying to move that, so that might be a reasonable exchange.
Then the, community club owned, just to the north of John Deere track there,
Yes, sir, they do.
that they've always held for economic development, or for industrial development, doesn't it?
And there's still the land, there's like 10 acres left over there by Select Seeds in Camden. It's gonna be well ahead.
Which side is, oh, and so it's Camden.
Yeah, they're in Camden,
East of the current building.
right, east of the current building,
Did he sell all that out there already?
all but farmland.
Okay, so he's got 10 acres there.
And that could be developed to be, to suit probably both,
Oh, I think I ought to go there,
yeah. And I think you can, cause I think mostly what we need now for the emergency management is a building. You don't have to have nothing fancy, just electric. You know, maybe a little bit of concrete in there, the rest of it would be dirt or concrete floor or gravel.
Mike's doing some research on buildings, full building versus steel building.
Right.
Do you want a full building, or you don't want a full
I
building?
kind of recommend steel building.
Steel building?
Because the full buildings,
Then you carry it after.
well, you see a lot of them laying on the ground 30 years before they blow down. Just supposed to rot out. There's a, they have,
About the age of mine are now.
they have, well, they have, they've improved them. I mean, they've got the concrete stove with the, attached to it on top of that.
Right. But I
Also,
mean,
I don't know if you can buy a package, but that's not construction cost.
I think we can be more efficient, if we can get him out of the basement, and get him in an area where he can keep everything, because he's just got it scattered everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's everywhere.
Right.
I mean, we got a nice dirty truck sitting out back in the snow, with lots of equipment in it.
We need the size of the storage.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you big you build it,
It's never gonna be enough, but
So what are we gonna do about what we're looking at right here?
we have to have a decision today on everything.
You know,
use some
know
of
they're
it.
waiting on it, usually
Right.
they have it done way past now.
Right.
And the Delphi Senior Citizens, they're turning in bills because they don't understand the process. I've encumbered some, I can encumber some of this here, but the January bills, I don't want them to keep spending if
Right.
you're not going to do
Did
it.
they spend all their 5,000 last year?
No, so that's what I'm saying, I can encumber some, but some of these are January bills that I can't encumber.
And there's enough in there to cover those from last year, do you think?
Before January.
Yeah.
you can cover it.
I know, I just got this, so I know that I have an encumbrance of 100 and some, I don't know what these really add up to. So, probably, but they're continuing, I mean, they continue to spend, so. I think they,
So even though we give them that 5,000, we're still at $309,000 we have. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and enter with the EDC for what they're asking, 148,291 for the one-year contract for the edit request. And to me, that's something, I think that's why we're losing people outside, because we're not getting anybody in. And we got a few companies here, I think this pandemic will be ending soon, once everybody gets all their vaccines. I think we'll be getting back to normal, I hope, before into summer. We'll never be normal again, but
okay, so can you just go down the list and see what you wanna do?
You gonna do one by one, or what?
I can throw in my 2 cents here. I'd like to deduct, $30,000 off the highway and then pass it all as it is.
Take 30 off the highway?
Yeah, make it 220 instead of 250. That'll cover the shortfall. and then do it all.
so what do you do if they don't approve it? I would dig in, there's no point to approve it,
They will approve
what's there?
right, and if they don't approve the highway, then it just comes back to you.
Then we
The
get
others are
220 to you.
okay.
And we
We
do,
don't have to do it as one, remember, Ted said that to us last year.
well, I'll second Bill's motion.
The motion?
I did not make.
Oh, okay, I
Just
thought
say
that was
one.
one.
You wanna make that motion?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Keep the, request as, second now, with the exception of county highway, 220,000.
Right, and that keeps us in budget, with, you don't wanna spend more than you bring it in.
Go ahead and 300,000 to 400,000, because we looked at for this year.
Cause we still got the two, we still got the, we still got the 250 that they did approve last year for the highway. I mean, there was something else, I believe.
That's
And
it.
60 off of that, so it'll be 190 plus
I didn't-
whatever else we add in there.
But we are getting 462,000 this year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I support it would be. That's the motion, I'll second the motion.
Would you say,
I will second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second that we approve, I'm just gonna run down through it here. Burlington Community Club for $3,000, Carroll County Highway Department for $220,000, Delphi Greater Chamber of Commerce, $3,000, Carroll County Economic Development, $148,291, Carroll County Chamber, $45,000, the other Carroll County Chamber, which was advertising contract, $35,000, and Delphi Senior Citizens of $5,000, which brings to a total of, see, we took 20 off, right, 30 off, 30 off, 459,291. We have not touched our amount we have back, nor have we exceeded our budget for this year.